As we descend deeper and deeper into this clown world, uncensorable money will become ever more important. And of course, that is Bitcoin. But it's also useful to have additional tools built on top of that to help with different things like crowdfunding, etc. And so in today's video, we're going to be looking at two options for Bitcoin fundraising and crowdfunding. Those include Tallycoin and Geyser. Let's jump in. Welcome back to another video. My name is Ian Major. I'm an entrepreneur, Bitcoin pleb, and all-around raging capitalist, and I'm excited to do this video in part because it has been on my list for quite some time. The original impetus goes back several months to the Canadian trucker convoy that folks may recall, where GoFundMe, this sort of centralized entity for crowdfunding, was essentially told by the Canadian government not to release donations to the intended recipients. And at the time, this drove a lot of awareness for Tallycoin, which is a project that's been worked on, as we can see by DJ Booth here. This goes back to 2018, so it was really cool to see this project gain a lot of momentum and visibility as a part of this. And we've also more recently seen something called Geyser Fund with very similar kind of functionality. And so with that, it felt like a good time to finally put this up. I think this is really, really important. Connecting the broader community with tools such as this to empower people creating content, entrepreneurs, education initiatives. There's a lot of love in this community that it can be unlocked with the right tool set. For those returning to the channel, welcome back, my friends. As always, it is a pleasure to have you. And for those new to the channel, I welcome you as well. If you like this type of content, I invite you to consider subscribing and join us in our growing merry gang in cyberspace. I cover all manner of Bitcoin-related content, including a whole slew of tutorials on how to acquire Bitcoin, secure it, privacy best practices, running your own node, and more. And so with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump right in. And first, we'll start with Tallycoin. Right, so we are on Tallycoin. You can see tallyco.in, and that will redirect you to this homepage. I will, of course, link this in the description down below. But you can see some of the key features. So crowdfunding and Bitcoin, 0% fees. So this is interesting. Both of these have no fees. They take no cut. And so presumably they operate via donations, and they support both Lightning and on-chain transactions. And as we will see, Tallycoin supports a number of different options for connecting your own node so that there really is no intermediary in between. That was the whole issue with the third party of GoFundMe. In the case of the Canadian trucker convoy, which is just a totally, utterly disgraceful example of censorship. So Tallycoin really has thought of a lot of things here, as we will see. Now, keep in mind, there still could be something that happens to the Tallycoin website, but if you're receiving donations to your own node, then that's it, right? There's no funds that are lost as a result of that process. It would still stink and have to be kind of recreated elsewhere, which is why I think multiple projects of this nature are going to be important. But that is really nice because it removes arguably the largest attack vector, which is the withholding of the actual funds themselves and preventing them from getting to where they need to go. So there's a couple different sign-up options. You can do so via Twitter. Keep in mind that will kind of pull in your profile pic. So if you want to be totally anon on this, maybe you do so via an email. I'm going to be doing it via Twitter, and so let's go ahead and click via Twitter here, and you'll see it just uses the Twitter API to authorize you, and here we are. And so we are on the kind of main page. You can see a couple sections over on the left. There's fundraising, getting paid, account settings, etc. And I really love this. It's a clean layout, and they've thought of a lot of different things. And so let's imagine we had some cause or some initiative that we wanted to raise some funds for. The first thing we'd want to do is specify how we'd want to get paid. And as you will see, there are a couple different options. So for one, you could put in a simple Bitcoin address that you can generate from whatever wallet. So as an example, I've pasted in an address from the wallet connected to my Umbro node. Go ahead and hit save. Beyond the simple Bitcoin address, you also have the option to put in an extended public key. And so what this allows Tallycoin to do is generate additional addresses, because it is generally the case that a static Bitcoin address is not very good for privacy, right? That's very easy to track. Now, the challenge here is that, as far as I'm aware, the extended public key here would rotate addresses only on a per fundraiser basis, not necessarily on a per donation basis. So do be aware of that. But in addition to on-chain payments, you also have the option for Lightning. And so as an example, if you go to the Lightning tab here, they have a default operator, which is OpenNode. And so if you wanted to, right, if you weren't running a Lightning node at home, but you wanted to receive Lightning payments, which is a great option for donations, right? Particularly, to enable small payments. You could set up an account with OpenNode, so they've listed their website here, and you could essentially, sign up for an account with them. Now, you can start for free, but I do believe they charge a small transaction fee for payments and different payouts. So that is one option, again, if you're not running your own node and you want to receive Lightning payments. Or alternatively, if you're running your own node, you can come down to this Node Connect option. So as you can see, there are integrations available in a number of different node implementations. It's available as an app in the Umbrel App Store. It's available within BTC Pay Server as well as Raspberry Blitz. And you can even grab Tallycoin Connect on GitHub. For those of you who may be less familiar, I have a whole playlist on my channel that goes through everything from why might you want to run a node to the full end-to-end setup of building your own node, Umbrel tutorials. I have a tutorial for BTC Pay Server and more, so definitely check those out. And I will link some of those resources in the description down below. But just to show what this looks like, I will go ahead and show an example with Umbrel. So I've got my Umbrel node here. I'm going to go down to App Store. I have yet to update to Umbrel 5.0, so shame on me. You're seeing the old kind of interface here. But let's find Tallycoin Connect. Here it is. And you would simply install. And as with many apps within Umbrel, you get a default app password. So we'll copy this just to have. And so let's just give this a second to install, and we'll be right back. All right, so we are going to open Tallycoin. We'll enter that password. And so let's go to the setup option. And so as you can see, this is where we will put the Tallycoin API key. And so it gives you a little bit of an instruction there. So we'll come back and we'll generate our API key. We'll go ahead and copy this, and we'll come back to Tallycoin and paste the API key in. We'll go ahead and save it, and it is done. Would definitely recommend putting a password on this just to prevent, if someone were to get their hands on your computer and get into your Umbrel. This just requires a password in order to do that. And so that is it in terms of the setup. If we come back to Tallycoin, we can go ahead and test the connection, and indeed it is connected. So we are now able to receive Lightning donations directly to our node through Tallycoin. Very, very cool stuff. Keep in mind some of these notes at the bottom, which are very important in terms of managing channel liquidity. Because if you want to receive donations in, you will need to have a remote balance commensurate with the amount of funds you'd want to receive in. And so again, check out that playlist if you're not familiar with how Lightning liquidity and payment channels work. I've done a lot of different videos, not just on setting up your node, but on managing it and ensuring you have sufficient inbound liquidity. The last option they have, which I love, paynims. And so if you're not familiar, you can claim a paynim here. This will take you to paynim.is, and you can create your reusable payment code as codified in BIP47. This is really, really cool. You've probably seen these paynim bots on Twitter if you're not familiar with them. But that's a really cool option because it allows a very simple ID to be put in that's going to completely manage the addresses behind the scenes, and you get great privacy as a result. So there you go. You have a number of different options for configuring how you'd want to receive on-chain or Lightning funds. And then when you want to actually create a fundraiser, you can go to the Create New option. And so, you can put in some basic information, right? Maybe I want to do something to support, the different content creation I do. So support Rager Major, right? You can specify a goal if you wish. So, whatever, right? You can choose sats or denominate it in BTC or USD. It will have you put this Bitcoin address in again. So I'll just put that in there. Address is validated. Now, if you did the extended public key option, it would basically just choose the next address associated that hasn't been used with your extended public key. You can specify the goal type. Do you want it to be ongoing? Do you want it to be a monthly goal, etc.? And does it have a time limit? So, sure, maybe I add a little time limit here. You can hit next. And then you can add things like a header image as well as a description where you can also add and embed things like pictures and videos. So pretty cool. You can make this very kind of multimedia. Let's just say test. But let's say create fundraiser. And so this will just show you what it looks like. So you'll have a little, progress bar, how much you've raised, what the actual goal is. You can always edit that before you publish. And then, let's go and just publish and go live. And now you can see what the page would look like. So you could basically grab this link and post it wherever, post on social media, if you have a website. And that is how folks would be able to access this page, where they would be able to see the different information. And this is what the donation interface looks like. So you can choose the dollar amount. Maybe we want to donate $1. And then you have the on-chain or Lightning options. So if I hit on-chain, it'll present us with a QR code in order to pay, right? So this is the QR code associated with the address that I put in. If we hit back, we could also pay in Lightning. And so now this is using my node to create a invoice, a Lightning invoice that can also be payable. Very, very cool stuff. You can add a message, right, as crowdfunding platforms usually have, or you can elect to be anonymous. So pretty simple. And then you can always come back to your admin dashboard. And, you can always edit the campaign. Maybe we unpublish it for now. And there you go. So pretty straightforward. The other cool thing is that there is this TallyPay plugin. And so you can add TallyPay directly to your website if you want to have that embedded as a plugin, which is another great option to have with a simple bit of code that you can add into your website. Now, all of that is if you want to come on and fundraise yourself, but you can also, of course, go to the Explore option here and have a look at all sorts of different initiatives. And for me, honestly, this is even more important, right? There's so many great projects and initiatives out there. And so, you can see the most popular. You can see something trending now for the UK Bitcoin conference. Renee is writing a Lightning Network book, right? So there's there's Raspberry Blitz development. There's all sorts of stuff that you can come and take a look at. So with all of that, let's hop over to the second option, which is Geyser. So this is geyser.fund, and we can similarly see there's a number of projects listed on the page directly as you see it. There's some education efforts, Bitcoin racing. So let's take a look at how to actually donate. So Anita here has done some really great work, particularly in emerging markets. And you'll see the interface to donate looks quite similar, right? You can say fund this project. You can denominate it in dollars or sats. So maybe we want to say, let's do 20,000 sats. Keep up the great work. And of course, you can read through what Anita's doing, what she's proposing, etc. And let's go ahead and fund the campaign. And so as you can see, it will default to Lightning, but you can also switch to on-chain, no problem. I am going to go ahead and use Lightning. I am in my Blue Wallet app here. I've done a whole video on Blue Wallet, which is one of my favorite, both on-chain and Lightning wallets. And I am in my Lightning wallet here, and I'm going to go ahead and hit send and use the scan option to scan the QR code. And so there it is. There's my 20,000 sats. I'll go ahead and hit pay, and the payment is on its way. Now, I have seen sometimes that this will continue to hang on this kind of waiting for payment step. So don't be too alarmed if that happens, especially with Lightning, which is essentially instantaneous. So you can always kind of click out of this and then refresh the page, and you will see my donation. Keep up the great work. So very, very easy to donate to these different causes. What's also very cool is that Geyser just pushed out a Lightning address for everyone. So this is akin to an email address, except for the Lightning Network. Now, different wallets may or may not have integrated the ability to send to Lightning addresses. Blixt is a great example of one that has. I've done a whole tutorial on that, but I thought I would just mention that because that is really, really cool, and I think that's a big usability boost for the Lightning Network in general. Now, if you yourself wanted to launch a fundraiser, you can come over to the launch option here. And right now, given that they are in alpha stage, you have to submit a project idea, and then you would either be accepted or not. Over the coming months, they're going to open it up to a lot more folks, and then presumably ultimately make it kind of permissionless and anyone can come in and create this. But do take note of that at this early stage for Geyser. This connect button allows you to connect your Twitter, which again would pull in your kind of profile image and things like that if you wanted to not be anon on the platform. And then the other thing that's cool about Geyser, I also, in addition to the campaigns page, which we were looking at earlier, they have this grants option. And so they're doing their first round of grants for this month. It really is an attempt to raise funding for folks that are building Bitcoin awareness, enabling Bitcoin culture, supporting needed development in this space. So Bitcoin educators, developers, etc., can come and apply for either the Bitcoin education category, the Bitcoin builders category, or the Bitcoin culture category. And you can kind of click into each of these and see how many applicants have applied and different things like that. So a couple different ways to potentially get support if you're interested in doing a some sort of Bitcoin related project. So again, I love to see more and more tools that are becoming available to help connect builders and creators to the folks who use these services. And I think many of whom are very happy to donate and give. There's just a lot of love in this community. And so I think tools like this help connect the dots for folks. So I know that was a bit of a quick tour for each of those, but I wanted to do this video just to give a big shout out to what I think are two really, really cool projects. With all that, let's go ahead and conclude today's video. All right, my friends, there you have it. We took a look at two great Bitcoin fundraising and crowdfunding options with Tallycoin and Geyser Fund. As you saw, both of them have pretty similar feature parity. I do think Geyser has a little bit more kind of overall probably support and backing, especially in terms of the grants that we saw. Tallycoin is certainly the OG in this and has really, really impressive functionality as we saw. And I think the more tools, the better. It doesn't take a genius to look at recent events and understand why tools like this are going to become increasingly important for the community to be able to rally together and support different initiatives. And so I'm really, really excited to see both of these projects continue to develop. But I'm curious to hear, what are your thoughts? Have you used either Tallycoin or Geyser? Let me know in the comments down below. But for now, we'll go ahead and leave this here. I hope you found this valuable and interesting. If you did, you already know what to do. Give this video a like. Use the share function below this video because that really does help with the algorithm these days. And it helps get these projects in front of additional eyes and the different initiatives within these projects, which, as we saw, are awesome, like just these grassroots efforts. You'll love to see it. But with all that, we'll go ahead and leave this video here. As a reminder, every sat counts. And until next time, I'll see you then.